For more updates, click on subscribe and click on bell button for latest notifications. Hi friends, welcome to Techarkit YouTube channel. My name is Ravi. In this video session, we are going to see that how you can access the Linux machine via GUI or the CLI. So how we can access that VM, we are going to see that. So the first of all, in before sessions, what we have tried is that we have downloaded the ISO from Red Hat site, and we also installed the remote machine using the iDRAC console to the hardware server, and also we have started updating the packages as the first step. Then now we are trying to access the GUI or the CLI of the Linux machine. So how we can access, how many methods you can use to access the system. Let's see that. So if you go here, so how to access Linux and accessing the Linux GUI and CLI. So in this environment, I'm just using the VMware workstation as a provisioning for the servers. So here is my both the VMs I just created for this Linux usage. One is CentOS 8, another is RHCL 8.3. So both are different versions. Like both are similar in clone, it's 100% similar versions, but Red Hat needs to have the subscription. So as we yesterday joined our system to the Red Hat network, or subscribed the network using the Red Hat console, and CentOS is completely free for us, so we can just utilize this CentOS version. So now currently I'm accessing the GUI version of it by logging into the opening the workstation, VMware workstation, and switching on the virtual machines. So this is the one way you can access the GUI. So but in real environments where you have a production environment or the real-time environment, so you should not have GUI access most of these times. So what you have to do, so you have to work on command line itself. So either you can have iDRAC access, but all the time accessing the iDRAC is not that good option, or remote console access is not the good option. So what you have to do, so you have to configure something on the server side to access the system to the remotely. So how we can do that? Let's we have few ways. One is that let me open a notepad here. So let's so one is that we can have the SSH to server, so which is on a command line access, we will get it directly. So either here you can use so many tools. So the by default most of the tool which is used called Sputty, and you can also use mremote ng is a default tool, or some well guys will use x remote, something like that, or you can also use multi tab putty, something like that. So there are so many things, so you can use anything whichever you'd like to use. SSH client as a software, so anything you can use it, whatever you want. So for GUI access, either you can directly log into the remote console. So that is not a good option always. Either you can configure VNC, so we will later know that how you can configure the VNC access, or either if it is a VMware or something like that, you can just log into the VM console. So this is the way you can access the GUI server. So first of all, GUI I'm just accessing using the here. So you can see that this is my server console. I'm just accessing my GUI. So this is how it looks whenever you are accessing your GUI. So if you'd like to access your system as a CLI, then so first of all what you have to do is that you need to install few packages and start the service, otherwise it won't work. So otherwise you cannot access your machine. So first of all what you have to do is here is that install. So you need to install open SSH package. So this is the package you need to install and start the service. So then only you could able to access the server via Linux. Okay, you need to set up firewall things, all this stuff, then you can able to access the OpenSSH server. So this is the packages I have installed here. Now what you have to do is that systemctl enable SSHD. Okay, so this is the service we need to enable here. Systemctl start SSHD and verify the status of that service. So you can see that this SSH service is running over here, which is active. And if you have a firewall or the SC Linux, you need to make some changes to the firewall as well. Firewall -cmd -permanent, we need to add permanent and add service. So either you can add the service or the port number to the firewall to allow your, which is says that which is already enabled in the RHCL. So sorry, already enabled in the firewall. So you need to do anything. So most of the times the SSH will be auto enabled, so in most of the servers. But if you do not have, but you need to verify that and check this is enabled over here. Okay, and now get the IP address of your system. So here IP space A, if you type it, you can get your system IP address. So this is my system IP address, is 192.168.48.250. I just copy this system. So, and if you have a Windows machine, example, you would like to access your system, then what you have to do, install the putty software. Okay, then open the putty software here. So you should not get all of this here, you just get only default settings here. Okay, so these are my saved sessions because I already using my putty session from long, so that's why I saved few of the sessions. So here what you have to type your IP address, server IP address, and port number is 22. By default the SSH port number is 22, and select your SSH. You are going to SSH to your server. If you would like to save your server as something, you can also save that session. Later point of time you just click on that, so which will automatically load your settings. Okay, so I just save this as CentOS 8.2. okay, 8-2, and save it. So here is my settings has been saved. So now IP address, port number, and what you have to do is that you just click on open. So which will give, for the first time, which will give you an alert saying that your putty security alert. So you are going to trust your host key. Say yes. Then whenever you click yes, so you will get the access, something like this. So you need to type your username and password here. So my username is this one, and I'm just going to type the password. So but whenever you are typing this username, it will take little longer time because since it is a local environment, we do not have a DNS settings over here. So that's why it's could not able to resolve your DNS. So it will take little time to log in. But if you'd like to make it faster on the Windows side, what you have to do, I will just let you know. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to just open drivers file here. Okay, so whenever you open the drivers, it will open like this in the folder, system drivers folder, and etc, you just open this host file. Open host file, And so in order to open this host file, what you have to do is that you just run your command prompt as a administrator. Your command prompt as administrators and cd drivers etc, okay, and open notepad and host file. So in this host file you just add your entry here, so which is called 192.168.48.250 and the server name here. So what is the server name we are using here? CentOS 8.2. so this is the one. We just have to enter it and save this file. So if you have administrator enabled, then you can save the file, otherwise you cannot do that. Okay, so now I'm just exit this one and I reopen the putty session here, and I already have this CentOS 8.2 saved, and click on load and now click open. So the putty window will open here, and if you type, so you can see that it will go faster. See that? So it's much faster than access. So this is the way you can just simply access your putty. So according to your settings, you just change your putty settings, your background settings, and all of the details. You can just set your appearance here, like changing the colors, behaviors. Okay, if you'd like to do any text changes, all of this you can do that here. Okay, so this is the way you can just access your CLI. So remember that you need to have the OpenSSH package installed here. So how you can check that whether it is installed or not? You can simply go to rpm-qa and grep for an OpenSSH package. So you can see that. So the OpenSSH package, if it is installed, OpenSSH server is installed, then start this service, which is called systemctl. You can just verify that SSHD is running or not, and you need to verify that whether your network is open to access default 22 port. So most of the networks will open by default 22 access, so that's why you don't need to worry about it most of the times. Okay, so this is the way you can just access your system from Windows machine. You can use the putty and you can access the system. But in case you are using a Linux machine or as a desktop, then how you can access? So here example, I have one more server. So this server, we need to do the similar step here. So this is example, if it is a considered as a server, that this center is considered as a client. Okay, so then you can just verify this as okay. So here you just open the terminal session and you can just get IP address of this system. So here also you need to install that OpenSSH package and start the service, and you can access this machine. So here, which is machine called 48.201 is my IP address. So what I'm going to do, this is my example, consider this as a client. I'm just would like to access that machine from here. So what you can do, SSH and type the username @IP address of your server machine. So this 201 is my server machine, and I already have my username over there, so which is Ravi, and I just enter. So for the first time you need to say the yes to accept the fingerprints from the remote system and type your remote user system password. So now you can see that you just access this RHCL 8.3 machine. So this is the machine name is RHCL 8.3. So if you'd like to access, you can just use the SSH command in order to access from the system. So if you would like to access from any Linux machine or the Ubuntu machine or your Linux desktop or Apple Macintosh also works the similar way. So this is how you can use your system to, or you can access from Windows or you can access from the Linux machine. So if you would like to, if you already have some VMware installed or the VirtualBox installed, so you can just open a console and access the direct as well. So but putty is most of the times will be useful, is easy to copy paste some text commands. But if you access the remote console, which is not that easy to copy paste some commands, if you already have some documentation in place, if you're trying, okay. And you can also have the putty session saved, so later point of time, if you'd like to refer what you've done in your before times, so always do a save your putty log session, so that will help you in future times. That's about guys, for accessing the Linux machine GUI and CLI. So here I did not show you any VNC, because that is one of the topic we need to configure VNC server and client access. So in later classes we are going to see that VNC configuration as well. If you are interested, or if you would like to configure right now, so there is a video in the playlist called VNC configuration, so you can just follow that and configure your VNC and access the machine. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Please subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos and courses.